And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number, what's this, 4, 5, 5? Whatever of the, 5, thank you, the DC Metro Area GEG, Google Educators Group. So we have a wonderful panel in the house, so we're just going to go from my left to right. Let's introduce ourselves, starting with Alicia.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alicia Bell from Pensacola, Florida, going into my 9th year teaching. I teach 11th and 12th reading and English language arts. And I'm excited to be on the panel today.
All right, fantastic, fantastic. Carla.
Hi, I'm Carla, a 6th grade ELA teacher in South Carolina, year 17 for me.
Wow, that's a good one. All right, Crystal.
Hi, did you say Crystal or Dr. Will?
Oh, I said Crystal.
Okay. Hi, I'm Crystal Morgan. I'm from, I work in Dallas Independent School District. I am a campus instructional coach. I've been an instructional coach now, basically kind of like a content specialist for about 8.5 years. I've been in education, okay, I'm 42 years. Yeah, I would say so. That's a pretty good, I should be able to retire soon.
Nice, nice. I know you're looking forward to that. Dr. Will.
Oh, hello, everyone. Dr. Will from Mississippi, instructional technologist for the district. Rookie in the game. Started out with working with young people in the after-school program. Did that for a while and realized I had to get out. Now I teach adults, and here I am.
All right, great. Tammy.
Hi, I'm Tammy from Florida, a little tiny town called Branford, which is right on the edge of the Swanee River, you know, the old song, Swanee River, that's us. This is, I counted it up this week for my blog, this is my 41st back to school week. It is my 24th as an educator.
Nice.
So, yeah, and it's my first year as a computer apps teacher, so starting from scratch this year.
Woo, go Sammy!
Yeah.
Fantastic. And my name is Sarah Thomas. I am a teacher / tech liaison over at John Hanson French Immersion in Temple Hills, Maryland. So without any further ado, let's get to things. So really quickly, just going to show you the leaderboard for this week. As you can see, we have a new level up. Ebony, congratulations to you, 55 points. Fantastic. Keep up the good work. Yes, and as you can see, panel's clapping for you because you more than you deserve it. So you have your level up video posted in the group. There are several people who are right behind you. We have a couple on the panel that are close to that 50 mark. So keep pushing, guys. You all are doing fantastic, and I'm so excited to be learning with you all. So let's see here. The topic of the week is BYOD / BYOT and one-to-one. So for those of us who think we're speaking a different language, panel, maybe somebody can shed some light on what these terms mean. So let's go the opposite way. Tammy.
Well, BYOD, BYOT, bring your own device, bring your own tablet. Student supported instructional technology is what that is. One-to-one is something for everyone to use. That's my basic definition.
Nice. Dr. Will?
Well, I would say the both BYOD, BYOT is students bring themselves, and one-to-one would be something that the school would supply.
Okay, great. Crystal?
I agree with the BYOD, except instead of drinks, it's device. T is for tablet. The one-on-one is more of a teacher being able to reach each student one-on-one at the same time, so one-to-many rather than many-to-one. So since it's one-to-many, it is not a function. Since of course, I am an instructional coach for mathematics at the high school level. I do want you to understand it's not a function, but it is an equation.
Gotcha. And did you just say that D stands for drinks? I think I caught that.
Kids, no drinks.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Carla?
I don't know if I can follow that because I can barely multiply. So
I know. I got an F in the
BYOD,
first grade.
what? I'm telling you, I get confused somewhere between the sixes and the sevens. But BYOD, bring your own device, and I've heard BYOT, the T standing for technology, and then one-to-one is one technological device per child. So
Fantastic, fantastic. And Alicia?
Same over here. Bring your own device. Bring your own tech. My kids is anything electronic that can get you on the internet. It works. It's good to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. In our county, Prince George's County, kudos to them because they just adopted the BYOD initiative. So now students are going to be able to use their cell phones, their tablets, their devices. So very, very excited about that. That's some great news for the DC metro area. So hopefully we have some educators from there tuning in today, just so that you can get kind of a heads up on what's going on. So great job, panel, differentiating between the two. Now, how have y'all seen either BYOD or one-to-one implemented? What are your experiences? Anybody, feel free to jump in on this one.
Well, I can start with my experience was using desktops in a classroom in a computer lab when our state test was being based off. We had many schools that was low performing for our SPED population, and so we needed to create a math lab that would allow us to close gaps in a one-to-one situation, and that's where my experience with one-to-one, and it wasn't a BYOD situation, but it was a one-to-one situation where we could control the way we were closing the gaps, so that because these students had to take the same test as our regular ed students, but we had to find a way, and this was before Brain Genie and all the wonderful sites were out there, but we had to find a way to facilitate the instruction to the students so that we could close the gap and move them all at their own pace. So that's my experience with one-to-one, my introduction to it.
Okay, fantastic. Anybody else have any experience with one-to-one?
Yeah, we just rolled out one-to-one at our middle school, and you hear about all of these great things, but the issue, and I found this at Twitter, not Twitter, but we went to ISD. I went to a presentation, and someone talked about it, and then when it was over with, a guy and I looked at each other and like, they didn't talk about the rollout. And when I asked them about infrastructure, which is crazy because you and I, Sarah, know someone who just drove cross country to work at a school in Illinois, and they told her, hey, we just bought 500 Chromebooks, and then it's like, what does your infrastructure look like? How many APs do you have? How many megs does your school have? What about your carts? What is your process for assigning the carts to teachers, and then your checkout process? So there's a lot that goes in the back end of creating that environment for one-to-one before you even get to the sort of instructional practice side of it.
Right, absolutely. There's a lot to consider before that rollout. Great. Anybody else have any one-to-one experiences?
Yeah, our district is moving towards one-to-one. We started a pilot last school year, and each school determined how they wanted to handle the pilot. Elementary school, was fine because if the teacher is self-contained, it's one classroom. There are 3 other middle schools in our school district. Our school decided to do a team pilot, so all of our 6th graders got iPads so that they could travel around with them to their core classes. The high school and the other middle schools just chose like 4 random teachers that varied across grade levels and subjects. So it's been a really neat experience for all of us because we all have something to share differently. I have to admit that I think that our school kind of did it the best way, just because checking in and out, they have suggested, Apple of course suggests, because they want you to buy one for every kid, that the devices are personalized learning tools. Because when children share devices, if they're working on them with projects and assignments, it gets kind of muddy as to who did what or who deleted what off of, of another child's work with logging in and log out issues. So it's been a great experience for us. We are continuing the pilot for us this year. Supposedly in January or in the spring, our district will be total one-to-one. So right now we have iPads in, I want to say 75 classrooms, and then that will probably quadruple in the spring. We're doing right now. The idea is one-to-one iPads K8, one-to-one MacBook Pros 912.
Wow. That is a huge undertaking, but it's definitely yeah.
And I'm going to Apple Academy. I have to tell everybody that I'm going to Apple Academy in October.
Congratulations! That is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. I'm anti iPad though. I really am.
Oh, so why do you say that you're anti iPad?
Because the management piece of it is a nightmare.
Yes, yes it is.
I mean, it is a complete nightmare. And in my job as instructional tech, we have iPod touch carts around the district. Now, you can handle this thing two ways. You can go to a third party, which will manage the devices in terms of, putting out apps, deleting apps, etc. Or you get a situation where someone calls the instructional tech to go there and update those devices and make sure apps are put there, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, it's a nightmare. That's why I like Chromebooks, because the network administrator can just be in the office and push everything there, and with beauty and ease. But the Apple devices, the tablets, iPod touches, they're not that easy to manage especially on a scale level.
Right.
That's good to know, because I've got an administrator that, well, we've got lots of administrators in our district that want us to look at the iPad. I think mainly because of the name recognition there. The parents know the iPad. So it's good for me to hear all of this, because my classroom is supposed to be one-to-one. As soon as the computers arrive, I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting, but they're supposed to be here, and class started last week. So, yeah, but that's okay. I am really excited to hear what you guys do in the one-to-one environment. We basically have a de facto BYOD on our campus. That the administrators have said that it's up to the teacher whether the students are allowed to use their devices in class. So we use them. In my class, we use them because we have them. And that keeps the infrastructure, we don't have to worry about everybody sharing the same bandwidth, because I've got 4 different network carriers in and amongst my students. So that helps with the BYOD policies.
That makes a lot of sense. So, that could help eliminate the challenges with lots of users on one network. So that's fantastic. Alicia, what about you? We haven't heard from you yet.
I was thinking about what you guys were saying. I'm not a one-to-one school or district. In fact, this school year that our superintendent's like, hey, let the kids use their cell phones in class, because obviously, tech is the way to go. We're like really far behind, I feel like. So we just rolled out BYOD this year, and there's a lot of panic right now. It's an atmosphere of fear going on in our district, because teachers are used to, not having those devices and being able to confiscate them. But I'm seeing a shift where teachers will start to see that BYOD can be a good thing. If the students are wanting to connect onto Edmodo or Twitter and using those devices to work creatively in the class, I'm seeing a shift in BYOD becoming the ticket that tells admin, hey, you know what, we should be one-to-one. There is value in this. We just finished our first week of school, and I got feedback from the kids that I'm the only teacher allowing them to even use the cell phones in their class. And I'm in a high school, so it was kind of discouraging, but my goal is to kind of push the use of that, and if they start asking their other teachers, maybe that wildfire will catch on, and they'll get more interested. So I encourage the use of BYOD in the classroom to lead one-to-one that can see the value in it.
Absolutely. Valid, very valid points. So one thing that you said just kind of sparked a question off in my mind. A lot of teachers are reluctant to have that BYOD element in the classroom. So what kind of, or even one-to-one. So what kind of tips and tricks or advice could you offer those teachers? Anyone, feel free to jump in.
We started with SAMR, the SAMR model, just to be so that teachers weren't so overwhelmed with introducing the technology or using the technology in their classroom. So we go over what the SAMR model is for everyone, and then we discuss ways that the technology can be used effectively in the classroom under those models. Like, what are ways that you could use the substitution model in your classroom and augmentation, and go through that. So that helps a lot. We also just kind of share things that the kids are doing. I mean, like, the teachers who aren't in that situation yet are really amazed at the level or the quality of work that students create on their own. And also, we talked about how, you know, the kids teach us a lot. My partner, Susan, she says, if I don't know how to do it, I ask a kid. And then if the kid doesn't know how to do it, I'll send them to you, Carla. So just having an open mind that, you know, we don't have to be the know-it-all anymore in our classroom, that there are so many other resources. So a lot of it is fear of the unknown and the level of control. And I understand, because I'm a crazy control freak. But just kind of releasing that will also help to alleviate a lot of fears, I think.
And we go ahead, Crystal. Go ahead, Crystal.
Just the back door, if I can. The way that I've been working, basically, whenever I've done one-to-one, I've always had the devices that was there. But now I'm on a campus this year where it's BYOD. So the rollout has been a continuation of what I've done with my teachers on previous campus. Is the way I'm rolling it out is my professional developments are completely online, and when they ask for paper, I'm like, the document is at the bottom of sites, it's live, and there's a stagnant copy. Either way you want to do it, if it's live, download it onto your device and you can activate it. If it's a static copy, you can at least just look at it. It's up to you which one you want to open. And then it's also the supporting resources that you use when you're going to have a one-to-one environment or a BYOD environment. So the first hook that I used was, again, thanks to, was it Carla? Did you do the Kahoot video? I did. Yeah. Kahoot. I had been introduced to Kahoot before, but I had not really played with it. So after seeing Carla's video on Kahoot, I went back and I played some more with it. So in my trainings this past week, getting everybody ready for the first week, every session I had a game. Well, not every session. I had games on Kahoot, and the teachers were like really competitive trying to get the points, and then of course I rewarded the first person who got first place with $1, and they said, "Oh, I'm gonna buy me a coach." So we had a conversation about, we know how hard it is to get adults engaged in PD, but did this work for everyone? And of course they said the pluses, yes it did. So imagine if you could use this with your students. And you have to understand, and the selling point was engagement, and then the icing on the cake was the Excel sheet that came out and showed the data already disaggregated for them, especially since we are a disaggregated, we are a data-driven campus. That, at that point, made the teachers just really just go, "Oh, wait a minute, it's already graded?" Yes. Now, I haven't had that conversation with them about the front-loaded work that you have to do, but the few teachers that I did have it with, but think about the backload work that you don't have to do as far as grading, because being subjective going, well, I think the kids got it, because you don't really want to sit down and grade the papers.
Yeah, that's very true.
Well, and especially when we talk about Kahoot and even Socrative and Edmodo, once it's in forever. So once you type it that one time, you're done, and you don't have to do it again. Yeah. So, you know, if they understand that, I think, like, I almost typed a whole new quiz until I realized, oh, yeah, I did put it in Edmodo last year. So, you know, once they realize that once it's done forever, that kind of helps alleviate some of their stress as well. And I'm all for not taking papers home. I don't do that.
I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. But see,
That's a selling point right there. Hey, who wants to not grade papers at home?
I feel you. I feel well, the greatest thing with the one-to-one is the mental transformation and transition that teachers must go through, especially if you are going to use an LMS like an Edmodo or Schoology, a Haku, etc. Because teachers have to now think of blended learning, which to me it will be the best instructional practice on that. And so what we did, we taught our teachers about blended learning, what it looks like, and then we, after we chose the LMS of Schoology, we trained them on how do you upload materials in there, how do you create a class, how do you do quizzes, et cetera, for bell ringers, et cetera, whatever you want. And then we walked them through saying, well, look, you can have 10 kids on Schoology working on their own time, really playing up the whole differential learning piece of it, and then say you can get another smaller group of 10 students where now you're doing that smaller group direct instruction and working with students that way. And to really get them revved up, 2 weeks before school started, we had a 9 to 3 teacher boot camp where we did Schoology, Google Apps training, some live binder, some other stuff, and then we did Kahoot, which that's how we actually, I guess our exit ticket for teachers to see did they learn what we did. And the teacher was so animated. I'm like, am I Oprah today? It's like, are you getting the car? Are you getting the car? Are you getting the car? Because they were like, oh, Miss Jefferson. Oh, I'm gonna beat you, Miss Jefferson. I'm gonna beat you. I'm like, they were all up in this. So from there, I'm like, I'm going to use this for every training that I do because they were really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so let me ask you guys this. In terms of your favorite app, what would be one app that you would recommend that people use either in BYOD or one-to-one situations?
For me, it would be some type of LMS system. Right now, we're using Edmodo, but I've looked at Schoology. I mean, I almost really thought about switching, just for some of the benefits that it has that Edmodo doesn't. But because that's the way that helps to figure out how you get work to students and how you get work back from students. And I think that's the number one issue. Once you get those devices and they've created all of these amazing things, how do I get it? Like for our middle schoolers, a lot of them don't have email addresses, so we went the GAFE route for our school. But yeah, definitely, whatever LMS system you plan to use, that's probably the number one thing that you need to start with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too. For me, my favorite app is Edmodo, but I also started Class Dojo this year, and go to the app, look up, what points they earned that day, and parents like it too. They get to see the kids' information right away, and I can just tap on. I like using that myself in class because I can just add points while I've got my iPad walking around the room. So.
Yeah.
It'd be Google Docs for me because with that LMS you can actually link a Google Doc inside that LMS for students, and so I definitely like the Google Docs or Google presentations for specific work.
For those viewers who are watching this that don't understand what LMS means, the learning management system that you guys continue to reference, I'm kind of a rebel. Even though we do have Google Classroom, we do have Schoology, we do have Edmodo. I think our district has bought every LMS out there and just said, hey, teachers, get on it. My thing personally is I don't like for anybody to own anything that I create. It's, I know that they say they pay me for my, they're paying me for, what's the word I'm thinking of? My creative
work product.
But it's
the work product.
But it's a work product. But it's another word that talks about that they own what I think when and what I create. When
intellectual property.
intellectual property.
Yes.
So whenever I do put something out and create something, I would prefer to do it up under my own name, my own email address, rather than the district email address or the district created site, because they then sell it to Pearson or sell it to whomever, because I believe there's always somebody, I just believe someone is always getting some type of kickback when you choose to use a Schoology, a Edmodo, a SchoolNet, a SchoolStar. There's so many different LMSs coming out, but no one district has just one LMS. And if you can't decide on one LMS and why to use that one LMS, then why are you spending the money on it when no one in the positions to make those decisions are even familiar with how to utilize those tools? So me, Blogger, and Google Sites with my own personal account gets the job done. And anything else I want to throw in there, I'll use what the kids use. I'll use my favorite, of course, is Instagram, because they love. I was using Instagram 2-3 years ago when it first came out, and they was like, ew, but now every kid has an Instagram account, and they're crazy about it. But it's like either you're gonna have an Instagram account for just they understand that. So I try to use whatever's popular for the kids. That's when I try to figure out how can I incorporate that with the kids. The kids don't use Voxer anymore. When I first got Voxer, it was because the kids were using Voxer. Then I stopped using Voxer, and then I started using it for teachers to locate me in the building and say, hey, can you come by my room? And now I have this whole new persona about PD. It's not Voxer anymore, it's PD. And it's wonderful. So I have a dream app, but as far as a favorite app, I don't want to get in bed with anybody. I want the creative freedom to do whatever it is I choose to do. That's why I call myself Da Vinci, because he was the greatest artist there ever was, but there's no evidence because he refused to standardize his work on any one form of paper, any one form of. He wanted the diversity of doing whatever he wanted to do. He was a rebel, and I love it. So yeah, that's me, a rebel.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot, about like owning your own stuff. But we're starting to run a little short on time, so just going to go over the challenges for this week before we close out. So the challenges for this week are up. We still have last week's challenges that are up, but each one went down a point. The challenges for this week, let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, this is for later, so don't ignore that. But we have a DC GEG map thingy here. So if you go on here and add your information, like quite a few of you have done, you see that we have a few of us in the DC metro area. We have in Florida. We have in Texas. So all over the place. So go ahead and add yourself for 5 quick and easy points. Let's see here. Also, another thing that you can do is that you can come here to our community and just post your reflection on any device, one-to-one device that people can potentially get for their districts. Which one you prefer. You can do a flip video about it, or you can blog about it, whatever you choose to do. Also, same thing, we're recommending a device-agnostic app for BYOD, either in a video or in a blog post. And the very last thing, let's go ahead and get cracking on this Voxer lottery here. So let's see who's going to earn our 7 big ones this week. So, last week our big winner was Carla. Let's see about now. Okay, going to spin the wheel. Let's see here. Is it going to be a two-peat? No! Wow! Carla!
I'm too lazy to fill out the form, Carla. I'm coming after you, Carla. I'm coming to get you.
Oh, my goodness. So this thing apparently loves Carla. So congratulations, Carla. You have won again for the second week. Everybody make sure to go ahead and put your entries in for the following week, and we'll do it live on air. And Carla, you're going to be approaching that 100 mark pretty quickly. How does it feel?
It just feels so wonderful, Sarah. I just like to thank everybody for supporting me and for voting for me. I just really appreciate it.
Nice.
We love you. We really love you.
What app did you use to do that?
Oh, that was a random name picker from ClassTools.net, and they have a bunch of really great really great things on there. So
you're going to drop that link on Google Plus and Voxer, correct?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know I got you. You know I got you.
Good
All
job.
right. Fantastic. So, before we exit, let's see. Does anybody have any closing thoughts they'd like to share? Just go ahead and speak up or forever hold your peace.
Last thing is, don't buy any devices until you know what you want to do and whether or not you have the infrastructure that can handle that device.
For me, I would tell teachers that the planning that goes into a one-to-one is the same amount of time that goes into planning for a truly engaged traditional classroom. You're not trading any of the work as far as being an effective planner. What you're doing is you're losing the amount of time that you would have to do to close gaps and grade papers.
I think that one thing that is very important that people understand is that just because you have those devices in your classroom doesn't mean it's 24/7 device access. You know, there are times that the devices will be face down on the student's table or desk. And that's fine, you know, but a lot of teachers don't freak out because you think that you have to plan something for every minute of the day with them using the devices, because it doesn't necessarily have to be that way.
And that's why you're leading, because that's the best advice.
And kind of like Carla was saying, you need a good model, not just for your students, but for other teachers on what good device use. Because a lot of teachers aren't going to get into it if they don't really understand how it translates into their classroom. Like you were mentioning SAMR earlier. A lot of teachers are scared of text. They don't know what it looks like. So be a good model.
Excellent.
Bam.
It just reminds me of when I first started teaching, there wasn't even internet in the classroom. So the teachers were afraid of it because we were trained to be afraid of it. We were trained that all that was out there was that P word, that four-letter P word, that porn. That was what the internet was for. That's what it was for. You didn't go on it because you would be accused of looking for something. And
oh my God,
that's the truth, and you all know it. You all know it. You know it. You know I'm telling the truth.
Absolutely.
And so we have a large number of teachers out there who are having to overcome that stigma that's still attached to it. And if nothing else, I tell them, put a power strip in the front of your room and let the kids plug them in, and you just get used to them being in the room. Just get used to them being in the room. That might be the best place for you to start, is not being afraid that they're in the room, because classroom management is classroom management regardless of whether there's a device there or not.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, excellent advice from the panel. I want to thank you all for coming and joining us today. I want to thank everybody in the GEG DC Metro Area group. So let's have a fantastic week ahead of us. So thank you all so much. Bye, guys.
Later, peoples.
All right, bye.